Hey guys, Came for 15, joined by my Uncle Darrell. We're back here talking NFL playoff predictions. Finally, NFL playoffs are here, and obviously we got a good slate of games to hopefully we get some upsets. Hopefully we see what's going on here, but I don't know. I'm very excited. Very excited.
Me too.
So first game we have a Saturday slate of games. And the first game is Chargers at Texans.
I would Chargers, man. I'm sorry. The Texans were dead and buried a month ago.
Yeah. I'll go with the Chargers winning the game. It's probably gonna be a back and well, I won't say back and forth game, but it's gonna be like maybe I can see this game being low scoring because that's how the Chargers like to win games.
And on
Um,
top of that, let's keep in mind the Texans are at home.
yeah,
And you know when when you got that home cooking, then it can work for you and against you. And I'm pretty sure they're gonna be hyped in front of the home fans. But I think when it's all said and done, that the Chargers will come away with a victory. I'll say something on the lines of 2017, 1916, something like that.
yeah. I can go more with the 1916 route, but we'll see. Um, it's gonna be
Because
interesting.
it's a crap load of field goals in that mix. And the Chargers do have one of the best kickers in the league in Cameron Dickey. So I think that, yeah, that 19-16 does fit like a really good score. I can't see a high scoring game because that's not the way the Chargers have rolled out. But in the end, I think the Chargers should pull this out.
Yeah, I think obviously turnovers is going to be a key between the quarterbacks. I think another big key is going to be the run game because both teams' defenses are really good. So
Yeah,
it's going to see who gets more rushing yards in this game, whether it's the Chargers. You already know the Chargers, Jim Harbaugh, he's going to insistently try to establish the run.
yep,
And the question is, will the Texans, if they get behind early in the game, will they continue to stick with the run or will they just try to rely on CJ Stroud, who hasn't exactly been the best this year. And then we
correct.
got
And
the
Harbaugh's biggest thing for me is two things. He likes to control the line of scrimmage, dominate the line of scrimmage, and control time of possession. If he can do those two things, he should really be successful. So the question is going to be, can the Texans do that with Joe Mixon?
yeah.
You know, so I honestly think they'll try to take Joe Mixon away and make Stroud pass a little bit more, try to get him around 30, 35, 40 passes as opposed to what they may do with Justin Abear and try to keep those pass attempts under 30.
Yep. And this game will be on CBS. The next game on Saturday will be on Amazon Prime Video. It is going to be an AFC North rematch, the Steelers at the Ravens.
I'm sorry, man. The Steelers, they're done.
Yeah.
Uh, I can't see them going into Baltimore and winning this game with the way they've been playing. Uh,
Did he freeze up? Uh-oh. Okay, sorry for that. My internet went down. But we were talking about Steelers and Ravens, and then it cut off as you were talking about the Steelers stand no chance.
no chance. I
Yeah.
mean, look at what they got to go up against. They got to go into Baltimore. They got to go into Baltimore with a poorly planned wide receiver. They got to go into Baltimore with a poorly planned quarterback. They got to go into Baltimore with a head coach who has been under scrutiny for the last month or so. They got to go into Baltimore with all of this drama and playing against Lamar Jackson, who's probably playing the best football of any quarterback in the playoffs.
Yep.
No, mm-mm.
Yeah.
I don't like them. I don't like them odds for Pittsburgh.
And then obviously you have rumors circulating if maybe Mike Tomlin could be traded, from the Steelers to another team. Um, yeah, the Steelers just haven't looked good. They didn't look good against the Cincinnati Bengals last week. Um,
Right,
even though they had a chance to come back, but they just didn't show up. Russell
right.
Wilson, was kind of cooled off since having that one, massive long period of good football, and then the defense just honestly hasn't played up to what it needs to play up at. And
No,
against this team, I think it's going to be too much. I don't think it's going to be a blowout because typically division games are going to be close, and
sure.
then usually to try to beat a team, well, for the Ravens would be two times, not three times. We'll see how it goes, but as long
Now,
as
one thing we got to remember that now Zay Flowers, we're not necessarily sure if he's going to play.
Mhm.
So that's something to consider in this game. His health, as far as his status, as whether he's going to play or not. In the end, I still don't think it matters. I think Baltimore still has enough to beat him, but I think it's going to be a heck of a lot more difficult if they don't have Zay Flowers.
Yeah. But we'll see. We'll see. I think it could be another close game with the Ravens then breaking away late in the fourth quarter, but we'll see.
Yeah,
It would be quite shocking if the Steelers find a way to win this game. If they do, well, Lamar Jackson scrutiny is just going to go from 0 to 100. So that's the thing. Anyways, Sunday slate of games. We got Broncos at the Buffalo Bills.
this could be the upset. Buffalo has not played well the last couple weeks.
Yep.
After playing Detroit, uh, they have not played well at all. So, but Denver, on the other hand, has done very well. Um, but and they are a cold weather team, so they can go into Buffalo and win.
Hmm.
So, if there was an upset, this would probably be the one. I'm gonna go ahead and pick Buffalo because I think they got I think they're on pace to be that team, the AFC's representative in the Super Bowl. But if there is an upset, this one is it. But I'll still pick Buffalo.
Yeah, I'll go Buffalo. I just see it to where Buffalo will try to do things to mess up with Bo Nix's mindset coming into a very critical playoff game on the road. Um,
Yeah,
and let's be honest, he's a young quarterback going into an environment like Buffalo, like that's not exactly easy to play in. I'm not going to say it's going to be a blowout. Um,
no,
Obviously, Sean Payton will do things to have his team ready to play, get that crowd, try to get the crowd out of the game. But as long as
yep,
Buffalo doesn't do anything bad offensively, like turn the ball over, Josh Allen's not making bad mistakes, and the defense is just getting
yeah,
stops,
yeah.
Buff- Buffalo
Yeah.
should be winning this game. But
And I
anyway,
and I gotta admit, that's a great point you just mentioned about Sean Payton. Sean Payton will make sure that Bo Nix is indeed ready. He'll put together a package, he'll put together a plan to make sure this young man is actually prepared. So all of that being said, and this one, I'll tell you, we mentioned in our last video. This is McDermott's swan song. I
yep.
think if this dude does not win the Super Bowl, Buffalo will cut bait and bring Joe Brady on as their head coach.
Yeah, I think shit, hell, if they even lose this game for whatever reason, he's definitely gonna be gone, and they'll just promote Joe Brady from inside and just be like, "Yeah, enough of your interviews with these other
Yep.
teams. You're gonna be the
Yep.
head coach."
Yep. And this is something that should have been. I think McDermott should have been gone, before last year.
I thought she'd been gone after the year they lost to the Chiefs at home. I thought
Yeah.
that was the year that they should have let him
Yeah.
go.
I thought they were going to let him. Now, what was that 2 years ago? I believe that was, I think. But, or it could have been,
No,
no,
that was
it
last
was
year. That was last year.
last year. Last year. Yeah. So so I agree. We're saying the same thing. But, you know, he got another year. And honestly, I think the scrutiny is on him even more with the subtractions that they made in the off season. So I think if you don't do it this year, they're going to announce Joe Brady as head coach.
Yep.
And you heard it here first, folks.
Yeah. Next game is going to be the Green Bay Packers versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, the only thing about this game is we don't know the quarterback statuses of both teams. Jordan Love's obviously got that elbow injury, but I think it sounds like he might be able to play. And then I still haven't seen any reports about Jalen Hurts. They still saying he might be in concussion protocol.
That's correct. So if both backups play, I'm gonna still go with Philadelphia. Um, but
But
if the
then
backup,
didn't Kenny Pickett also get a concussion too?
ooh,
Because I think he got a concussion like 2 weeks ago. when they played the Cowboys.
Yeah, and then that's the game that they pretty much went Saquon left, Saquon right.
Yep.
So, in the end, I still think as long as they got that offensive line and Saquon and a healthy and a rested Saquon Barkley, I think regardless of what Green Bay wants to put on the field, they won't win under them circumstances.
Yeah, and they've gotten behind the eight ball the last two games early in the
Correct.
games by letting the Vikings get up early on them, and then the Bears getting up early on them.
Correct.
Um, you know,
And Christian Watson obviously
oh yeah,
is not.
Christian Watson, he tore
Yeah,
his
he's
ACL.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's done. Obviously, he's not playing. So that does take away from their wide receiver core a bit. I mean, the only thing that he really offered was, you know, the deep pass.
Yeah.
But anyway, as long as Philadelphia has that offensive line and that really good defense, yeah, I think Green Bay is done regardless.
So the Sunday night game is the Commanders at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm looking, I believe these two teams did play each other. Yes, they did play each other in week one. Buccaneers ended up winning 37-20 in that game. Um, I'll still go Tampa Bay winning this game, but I think Washington will be a little bit more prepared than they were in week one. Obviously, Jaden Daniels week one is going to be a lot different than, or Jaden Daniels today is going to be a lot different than week one, Jaden Daniels, but I'll go Tampa Bay winning by 3 points. I could see this being 27-24. And
You
I
know,
know who you're probably going to go with.
I don't trust Tampa Bay. I don't trust Tampa Bay. Oh man. Yeah, I can't do it. I can't trust Tampa Bay, man. I'm gonna go with the Commanders. I think they're gonna go on the road, and I think they're gonna beat these dudes. Uh, mm-mm. I can't. And they won last week too, and they struggled while winning.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I'm gonna go with the Commanders. Something along the lines of 28-27 or something like that. Yeah, man. Don't trust Tampa Bay.
We could be we'll be getting another Mike Evans Lattimore fight again. So
Yeah,
that's good. And then obviously
that would be good.
the last wild card game is the Minnesota Vikings at the LA Rams. But they actually updated this game. This game's going to be held in Arizona because obviously of all the fires that have been happening in California, and things like that. Obviously, number one, there's people that I know through social media that lost a lot of homes and things like that. Obviously, what's going on in California is very, very terrible with everything that's
Yeah,
happening.
yeah,
Obviously the mindset is going to obviously be focused on the players. Will the Rams players be focused? I know, for example, like the Clippers, who are my favorite basketball team, Kawhi ended up having to not even, he had to go back home
yeah,
to go see. And then the way they played the Denver Nuggets, I didn't even have to watch the game just to see the final score. I could tell like these guys must have not been in it. They're trying to probably get
yeah,
home, see if their family's okay. I mean, I know
yeah,
that for the Rams, like they've been at home for this week period, but even then, in the back of their head, they could still also be like, well,
yeah.
is there anything else going on and stuff like that? So that's something to watch for. I do think Sean McVay will have these guys prepared to play the best way they can. Um, but
And keep in mind now, sports is an amazing way to bring folks together
Mhm.
and during divisive times. So I can honestly see the Rams really putting forth an amazing effort, regardless of the field of play, the location of the field of play, to bring some type of happiness to their fan base. I can actually see that. So, and it would be bad for the Vikings, who had a terrible loss in the biggest game of the year. I mean, good Lord, man. And what was it, 10-9 at the 10-9 at the half or something like that? And Detroit just came and opened up that can of Dan Campbell and just ran away with it. Was just not what I was expecting to see. And I
Yeah.
just I think coupled in with that and what's going on, you know, in LA, I'm gonna say the Rams gonna pull this one out. I think the
I
Rams
can
are
see the
gonna end
Rams
the
winning this
Vikings.
game.
I think the Rams are gonna end the Vikings season because the Vikings just did not look good at all.
Yeah. And I think to attribute to that, I think if the Rams are able to get pressure and affect Sam Darnold like what the Lions did last week, it just makes him off target on his throws and it
Yeah,
doesn't make him look like the Sam Darnold that people say. I think he deserves like a freaking big contract.
correct.
Um, so
And
we'll
on top
see.
of that, the Rams still got one of the most experienced quarterbacks in the league in Matt Stafford. Two of the best wide receivers in the league in Cooper Cup and Puka Nakua. I mean, Jared Verse has just been playing like a dude out, just playing out of his mind. So, and then on top of that, they got a strong running game with Kyron Williams in that offensive line. So, I mean, everything from a structural standpoint is in play. It's the emotions of the game that I think eventually will carry the Rams to win this game. Now, is this an upset in my opinion? Nah, not really. I mean, after watching that second half of the Vikings, you can honestly say that did you honestly see a 14-2 team in that second half? No.
No.
Didn't see that at all. It was just a bad showing, and the Vikings should be embarrassed. And I think the Rams are gonna send them home.
Yep. But anyways, that's basically it of any predictions that we have. I guess the only thing would be college football predictions. I know Notre Dame and Penn State are playing later tonight. Who you got in that?
I already picked mine. I picked Notre Dame to win it all when I saw that bracket. I was just like, it's just a weak ass side of the bracket, and nobody. Penn State then played the two Rudy Poots of the playoffs, and SMU and Boise State. How did they get that draw? I have no idea. And now they got about to play probably the best pass rush in the playoffs in Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame will beat Penn State. Probably something along the lines of 26-20.
Hmm. And then, would you
That will
take them?
make that will make your pops happy. So you make sure that once this is posted, you go ahead and show it to him and tell him that yeah, I picked Notre Dame. Here's the proof. And keep in mind, I was one of the first people who said it. He knows that too, but he don't want to give me that credit. He don't want to give me that credit because he knows I picked Notre Dame first when I saw that bracket. I did.
And then Texas versus Ohio State.
Ohio State, man. Ohio State been blasting everybody, and Texas ain't gonna be no damn different. The newcomers to the SEC, and they sitting on top of this so-called mountain, acting like they done been here for years on end. Dog, y'all just got here. Stop it.
Yeah. Well, anyways, we're gonna get out of here, guys. And stuff like that. We'll be back for next week's predictions for the divisional rounds and stuff like that. We'll
No
also,
bear stuff. You don't want
no,
to talk
not
about
really. No
no
Bears stuff to
bears?
be talking
No
about. Oh,
bears. So you mean to tell me you didn't want to talk about that long list of candidates?
if you want to talk about the long list of candidates, we
You
can.
want to know why it's such a long list of candidates?
Why?
It's because what I told you. You got McCaskey that's gonna hand him the candidates he likes, and you got Warren that's gonna hand Poles the candidates he likes, and then you got Poles who likes candidates. So you're gonna have all three of those lists of all these different candidates, and Ryan Poles has got to interview every single solitary one of them. And after he comes up with his interviews, you still gonna have those other two heads that's gonna put their nose into his business. But yeah, Ryan Poles is gonna be the one to pick. Yeah, I'm gonna choose the head coach. I'm just not gonna choose the candidates or the process of how I choose, but I'm going to choose.
Yeah, some Bear fans have some issues with that. Some Bear fans have some issues with the fact that so far only round one interviews are like only on over Zoom, and I'm just like,
Well, you
that's
can have interviews. You can have interviews over Zoom. I mean, you
they're
just
mad because they're bringing like everybody in, even the ones because it's a and this is not just for the Bears, this is for like all NFL league mandates. Like
yeah,
you
yeah.
can't whether a coach is employed by a team in the playoffs or not, you can't bring them in for an in-person interview till like after the divisional round of the playoffs. I think that's what some Bear fans are forgetting. But if it's like say like an outside source, like for example, Matt Campbell from Iowa State or Mike Vrabel, they could have brought them in the building and talked to them, but they probably just be like, and typically this is how job interviews go. Your first interview is typically a virtual interview in modern day society today. And then if they
Correct.
really are interested in you, they'll bring you into the building to talk more with you.
Correct. To a face-to-face interview, probably with a little bit more people, Poles,
Yeah.
Warren, McCaskey. Although I think McCaskey should just stay the hell out of it altogether. I mean, I know he got a list of people he won't, but if he's not a football guy, you shouldn't even take into account anything he hands into you. So, but I understand he signs the checks. So
Yeah.
that
Um,
is what it is. I just hate the fact that they are not completely 100% allowing Ryan Poles to sink or swim with this next selection.
we'll see. I think it's gonna be 100% Ryan Poles discussion.
No, I don't. He'll probably talk to him, but I'm pretty sure they gave him a list of names they want him to interview.
We'll see. I guess talking about other NFL openings, the Raiders just fired their GM. Yeah, Tom Brady definitely has something to do with that.
The Raiders fired the GM?
Yeah, they fired Tom Telesco today.
Really? Oh, wow. I did not catch that. I mean, obviously we knew they fired, but they
Uh,
waited till after he fired.
Antonio
He
Pierce.
fired Pierce.
So I think Tom Brady has a say in what is going on over there.
Well, more than likely, he's probably saying we need to find someone who can groom a quarterback.
Well, they got
And
to get a
obviously,
quarterback
Pierce.
first.
Well, I mean, obviously Pierce couldn't do it. I mean, I made a Facebook post about this earlier today, man. Defensive head coaches into today, they have no idea whatsoever how to run offensive football because it's not their forte. Offensive minded head coaches, they want to prove that they're smarter than everyone, so they're going to do they're going to do what they know best.
Yeah.
So
Um.
it's a nice dichotomy, but when you in this day and age, you got to get an offensive minded head coach.
Yep. Jets, their GM position is opening up. Only thing about them that I know is they interviewed like Rex Ryan to be potentially their next head coach, Matt
Yeah,
Nagy, Mike Vrabel. So who
yeah,
knows what's gonna happen there? It'd be funny if they get Matt Nagy. I'd be
yeah. It's
laughing.
what did they call the has been route.
Yeah.
The usual suspects. They're not trying to be innovative and hire, but they got Rodgers. That's why they're not gonna
Well,
hire. They got to hire an
depends what
experienced
Rodgers
guy.
does. If he
They
retires
gotta
or
they
Woody
gotta get an
Johnson.
experience. They gotta get an experienced guy that can deal with that ego. I get that. I really do. That's why I say Vrabel is probably their best pick because Vrabel ain't gonna take no crap off of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. The question is, obviously, with Vrabel, he's seen the Patriots today. I know he interviewed with the Bears yesterday. Question is, well, the Patriots just signed him right then and there because they did fulfill the Rooney Rule interview stuff by
Correct.
talking
Correct.
to Byron Leftwich and Pep Hamilton, who are not currently
Well,
employed by anybody.
I think Vrabel would probably be the that pick because he knows the organization. Um, Much of that has not changed since he's played. So I would honestly think that Vrabel would be that pick, and plus he's already proven he can coach. Now, has he proven he can, build a culture and a team that can develop a quarterback? I don't think he hasn't done that, but we'll see. He's
Yeah.
got one in Drake May. So all he would have to do is make sure he has an offensive coordinator if he gets that job. Have an offensive coordinator that can do something with him, unless they just pull a total Mickey fan and get Ben Johnson.
Yeah. Titans, their GM job is opening. That
Yep.
was actually a shocking fire. That firing came out of nowhere. But they just like, let's just clean house.
Ooh.
Well, no, they didn't clean house. They just got rid of the GM.
They just got rid of the GM. They still got the head coach, but at the same time, when you hire a new GM, that doesn't bode well for the head coach.
Yeah, and they put in a request. for Ian Cunningham, who's the assistant GM for the Bears. He was a
Mm-hmm.
finalist, I think 2 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
when he interviewed with them. So, for all intents and purposes, it looks like Ian Cunningham's going to be gone.
Yeah,
Um,
Ian probably want to get the hell away from Hallis Hall any damn way with everything that's been going on here. So it wouldn't shock me not one bit. The only thing I probably would say is Ian would more than likely, once he gets that job, and I believe he will,
yeah.
is yeah, he go ahead and get that head coach he can work with.
Yeah, I got to see him interviewing with all three of the teams that we listed, the Raiders and the Jets and then the Titans. I
Yeah,
think they would at least talk to him.
yeah.
Head coaching candidate wise, I haven't seen anything coming out the Raiders in terms of who they're. Well, I know they're interviewing Ben Johnson. I think today.
Ben
Um,
Johnson's not gonna want that job without a quarterback in place.
yep,
I, yeah, I don't think he's gonna take that gig. And you know, even though they may draft Shador Sanders, I mean, right now with that uncertainty, I couldn't take that job knowing that they don't have a quarterback in play.
yep. Well, that's if Shador even falls to them.
Maybe.
We were talking about the Jets, the Jaguars. That whole situation's interesting because on their Zoom call, I guess addressing to the media in Jacksonville, literally Shad Khan was like asked a question about, well, what if a coach, wants to get the GM out of the building, Trent Baalke, who surprisingly is still there after
Right.
all the years he's been there and they've been meddling. Shad Khan
Mhm.
actually said on basically the Zoom call, like, well, if a coach say he wants to get dude out of here, then you have to make that decision with the man right there. See, if that's a whole chaos. We talk about how bad our Bears are, but that's a whole bad situation there. How the heck are you
Yeah.
going to tell your GM right, basically to his face, like, hey, if a coach tells you you don't want they don't want you here, well, you're going to be gone. Well, then what's the point in just keeping him? Just fire him and be done with him then.
Yeah. And then on top of that, why allow Balky to hire the same guy that says, I don't want you here?
Yeah,
Like, what sense does that make?
yeah,
I mean, if you don't have the confidence in the guy, and we said the same thing about Ryan Poles as it relates to what Kevin Warren said, if you do not have the trust or the confidence in your guy, then get rid of him and hire your guy.
I would
But
bet
you
he
have
would
to,
be calling all over the lines, be like, "Hey, who do you know got any connections with these coaches? Would they want me out? And if it is, I ain't interviewing them."
I ain't interviewing and nor am I hiring him.
So
And
that
you have a franchise quarterback, so he's going to have people lining up for that
yeah.
head coaching position.
We obviously talked about the Bears. We obviously talked about the Patriots. I think Vrabel to the Patriots might be a done deal, to be honest, for me.
Yeah, I think Vrabel to the Patriots. I do like Cunningham as GM of the Titans. I do like that there. The uncertainty for the Bears is that they just got what all these candidates oozing
I
out the
think
woodwork.
they're high on Ben Johnson, and they really can't do nothing till the Lions lose.
That's correct. Well, they
So
definitely can announce.
yeah,
They can announce the hiring of a coach who's currently coaching.
yeah. So for all we know, they could interview the dude 2 times. They could have a handshake agreement that yeah, well,
Correct.
you're gonna be the next head coach. We just can't announce it. So do what you got to
That,
do
that,
in
that- that's correct.
Detroit. We'll be waiting for you, and when you're ready to make the announcement, we'll make the announcement.
Correct. Because keep in mind, there's a lot of time between now and the draft, which I believe is in April, latter part of April. So, I mean, there's a lot of time after the Super Bowl if the Lions make it that far, which, contrary to popular belief in, Chicago at least, that Detroit will make it to that game. So we're probably looking at somewhere along the lines of, mid to late February before they announce a head coach.
Yeah,
If it's Ben Johnson. I
yeah,
think if it's going to be someone other than Ben Johnson, then yeah, they'll probably go ahead and make that announcement once it's decided upon.
yeah. Um, and then the Saints also have a head coach opening, and I guess today I saw on social media that apparently Dennis Allen, the GM, came down to Dennis Allen's office and said, "I don't want to fire you, but it's above
You're
my pay
fired.
grade."
I don't want to fire you, but you're fired.
Yeah. So
And I've been reading that Aaron Glenn wants that gig.
yeah, I think
Uh,
he's gonna get. I think that's another log. I think he's gonna get
yeah,
that gig.
yeah, I think he's going to get that gig. But just like I keep saying, keep your eyes on these hires because as smart as these OCs are, what always seems to do them in is their ego.
Yeah.
Defensive head coaches, what always seems to do them in is a lack of knowledge of offensive football. So the key for an offensive head coach is just to make sure that he does what's necessary to keep that defense fresh while putting points on the board.
Yep.
And the defensive head guy got to make sure you hit it with that OC. You got to
Yep.
make sure you pick the right one for your team. So these things are difficult, but I honestly think if the Lions don't win the Super Bowl, their coaching staff is going to look greatly different come next year. And if anything has told me that next year after that, Philadelphia, when
Yep.
Philadelphia lost their
Lost
OC in
their
there,
offense in DC.
they struggled that next year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and this is what we as Bear fans we want, man. We want to see, either we grab somebody from these teams to weaken them a little bit, or hope that other teams do it for us.
Again, I would do anything in my power to get Ben Johnson and be
Ben
like, hey,
Johnson, man, I said go ahead and get him, and let's get his due what he needs to be successful as a coach. Get him a really good DC. I do not care for Eric Washington. There was a reason why he was available as a DC,
yeah,
coming to a DC. There's a reason for that. The Bears just seemed to they were just suckers. You have a DC and an OC on two different teams, and you bring them both in the same position. There's a reason for that.
yep. So
They suck.
yeah. We'll see. We'll definitely see where it goes on right then and there. Um yeah, that's basically it. What we got to say in terms of any coaching decisions. I know the Seahawks are also interviewing for OCs. Thomas Brown is interviewing for that. And then I think the Lions offensive line coach is also interviewing for the OC position for the Seattle Seahawks, which if the Bears
So,
do get Ben Johnson, I hope that he does not take that job. The O-line coach does not take that job to go to Seattle. I would hope that Ben Johnson has some handshake agreement. Hey, if I go here, come with me.
or even better yet, Luke Buckus in Green Bay. Figure out a way to get him on your staff,
He would
whether
have to
it be.
be the OC because the
Well,
league,
I no, I get you. Yes,
yeah,
figure out a way to bring him on board in the same position, or
they can't
call
bring him
him.
on as the same position. He would have to be. So the league rules are if you're gonna hire another coach on the staff, they can't be the same like positional coach.
Right.
They got to be a coach of higher
That's
status.
where they create these so-called positions of
Yeah.
associate head coach or
Hmm.
something like that. But I would love to see Luke Buckus on our staff.
Hmm.
Love it.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, we gotta have somebody back in the freaking office that's a Chicago Bear, not Green Bay Packer. Anyways,
Yeah,
we're
really.
gonna get out of here, guys. We'll be back. We'll continue. I'll continue to make videos and updates of Bears news and things like that. Um, we'll see where that goes, but yeah. Anyways, we'll be watching for the playoffs. Can't wait. Check out the Notre Dame Penn State game. I think it's gonna be a good game. Playoff games are gonna be great. Hopefully they're great. Hopefully they're not all blowouts, but we'll see. And
We'll
then
see.
next week we'll give our divisional round predictions for the teams that will be coming off the bye weeks,
Yep.
things like that. So,
Yep.
till then, guys, we'll catch you guys in the video. Stay safe out there, especially the people out there in California or
Yes,
LA,
sir.
realistically. If you're wondering about me, I'm good. The worst we get is just bad wind.
Yeah.
So
I was gonna ask. I'm sorry. Yeah, you good?
yeah, we just get bad. We're in the area where we're at. We're not even close to the fires.
Okay,
So
good. Good,
yeah,
good, 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 good. But we're praying for the folks over there who are closely affected by the
yeah,
fires. So God bless you and God keep you.
yeah. Till then, guys, catch you guys later, and you'll have a good rest of your day. Peace.
Yep.